Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Remember, you could follow us in the Freedom Zone. Just click the join button under any title of the video or join us in the Patreon group in the description box below here. Same price, same perks. It almost costs nothing to be in this group, to be perfectly honest. And we're going over some incredible stuff that all ties in to our country, geopolitics, and how it all ties back into this new digital on-chain economy. Today, we're going to talk about USA's hostile takeover. You're going to want to know about it. Let's get it started right here. It is $3.12 trillion market cap for crypto. Now, the market's off 1.6. Bitcoin, 96,800 plus. Ethereum, 1,800 plus. XRP's $2.21. We're off 1.3 in the 24, and we're up 0.5 in the 7-day. Range of price very quickly between 220 and 225. So you can see the bracket is tightening. Normally, XRP, when it's just really flat, trades between a cent, cent and a half. So this here between a 5-cent spread is kind of tightening a little bit because we've seen when it gets out jogging around, it gets a pretty wide spread on it. So we'll see what's going on. But I think there's a lot of great news in front of us that's about to set this market in motion soon enough. Let's take a look at this. It's XRP Las Vegas. We got a new trailer for you here, ladies and gentlemen. XRPLasVegas.com, let me tell you, is going to be a remarkable event. I don't know how else to say it. I tell you, we sat down, every night we spend hours going over everything that needs to be done, and we are getting to it. We're putting a bow on this thing, and we couldn't be more excited. Check it out.
He is here. Let's get ready for takeoff to XRP Las Vegas 2025, the world's largest XRP conference at the MGM Grand Hotel. The stage is set. And if you've waited this long, now's the time to get your ticket at XRPLasVegas.com and check out the conference agenda and see what top industry leaders will be on stage. You'll make valuable connections and learn more about the evolution of finance and Web3. Also, builders and developers will have a shot at $25,000 in prize money with the best Web3 project ideas in a Shark Tank-like pitch. XRP Las Vegas 2025 is weeks away. Get your tickets now, and let's all lock in.
No doubt about it. Get your tickets, ladies and gentlemen. VIP tickets are dangerously close to selling out, so if you want one, please get one. Caleb and Brown, XRPWealth589.com. Very simply here, I'm getting the best night's sleep I've had in 8 years in this space, ladies and gentlemen. Don't believe it, it's still true. And why? It's because I get institutional grade custody as a retail investor. And on top of that, I get human customer service. It's unheard of in this crypto space. Are you kidding me right now? You can too, and you can get it by opening a free account by going to xrpwealth589.com and getting started today. Don't mess around. You know what happens when the market takes off. These crypto exchanges, they lock up and they freeze, and you know it and I know it. But if you got a human representative to get a hold of, you can get through that moment like it's nothing. Not to mention the fact that if you think that something about your account's been compromised, pick up the phone and call them. It's unbelievable. Get started today. XRPWealth589.com. Oh boy, here we go. Digital Asset Investors got it right here. He says it's hilarious watching it dawn on all these Bitcoin maxis that it was XRP all along. We tried to tell them. We certainly did. You need to listen to this, and shout out to Riz for the original clip here. But listen how they go through this, trying to figure out what happened with it. And of course, they're like, it's a genius move by Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple. But they were faking it until they made it. No, no one was faking it until they made it. Okay, that's what Bitcoin has been doing. And it's been doing it with the luxury of a free pass. Because there is no immaculate conception. Write that down. It's software code. Somebody wrote it. Okay. And just because you don't know who it is doesn't mean it's an immaculate conception. So slow down, Bitcoiners. Let's get to it here. What they're finding out is that they've had their mind closed to what Ripple and has been doing with the use of XRP in the ledger, and they're just now finding out. And they say that they're faking, that we've been faking it till we make it, because they lack the understanding about what has been happening for more than a decade. That's the truth.
Yeah.
What was the largest acquisition that just happened today, ever
In crypto?
In crypto.
Well, there was the Ripple NinjaTrader one.
Oh,
excuse me, Kraken NinjaTrader one was 1.5. But Ripple just bought Hidden Road for 1.25.
Yeah. So the second largest, but let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Especially the Ripple one.
Yeah, Ripple. This one's interesting. So for people who don't know, Hidden Road was started in 2018 by this guy Mark Ash. He was an exec at who's the guy that SAC Capital, Point 72. He's an exec from Point 72. Set up the shop in like global shop, Netherlands, UK. I think they're actually headquartered in the BVI. Shout out Nick Carter. I think they backed them. They led the first round in 2018. Basically, they are an institutional prime brokerage firm, right? So they do clearing, financing. They clear more than 3 trillion annually across markets.
Not just crypto.
Not just crypto. So they actually started as an FX firm and then expanded into crypto. 300 institutional clients. Everyone from like Wintermute to Virtu trades on them.
Oh.
And they're a massive, massive, massive clearinghouse. They don't do any prop trading in house. Very they promote like conflict free, very tech forward. I actually met with one of the founders the other day. A phenomenal firm. And yeah, so they clear like FX, equities, commodities, digital assets, crypto, fixed income, cross margining capabilities across all of those. Massive firm. They just got bought by Ripple. Just bought them for 1.25 billion.
So what's going inside of Brad's brain when he decided to buy that?
Genius. Ripple willed a not the most what is the polite way to put this? What I think was a very retail driven idea, which is using XRP as a clearance currency.
Right.
It is not a retail-driven idea. This goes to show the lack of understanding from this guy who has done nothing. The reason they don't know what's going on with Ripple is because Ripple's been enterprise-facing. This is ridiculous. Listen to half the conversation. And then they still recognize the move as a power move, genius move, but they don't understand it's their own shortfall of what's been going on.
Obviously, that's never going to work. You can't have like a volatile asset as a clearing currency. Ripple and Brad and David and that whole team willed this basically like silly idea, which was using XRP as a clearance currency.
It's not a silly idea. It's a bridge currency. What's a silly idea is Bitcoin that does 7 transactions per minute being a world reserve currency.
Into reality by just, basically shilling this thing for years, getting the token to go up, using the capital, and now building a massive war chest. And they are turning Ripple into a real business.
They will will it into existence.
This thing is I will
give them the most amount of credit because this is what every foundation should be doing.
There's another, I would say the other person who did this.
It's exactly what you can't do with Bitcoin, which is why you're so shocked that it's being done with Ripple and XRP.
The strategy is Sergey at Chainlink.
Yes.
Sergey turned a Link, which was a meme coin, into a war chest of capital, into a company that has hundreds of employees and does deals that are 8-figure deals with L1s and L2s.
You will it into existence. And there's always a fake it till you make it kind of thing in every, and there's a fine line of how you walk that.
Yeah. Hidden.
It sure is. And it's called Bitcoin ETFs, jackass. What would Bitcoin be if Tether hadn't been pumping it up for a decade? It's unbelievable. There's just some people you can't reach. This is a gentleman right here who explains that basically the Hidden Road deal is going to open the door. Let me just bring it in right here where he breaks it down. Been working with Ripple for a long time. Fernando Martin, CEO of Nonco FX on AVAX.
Right? Because even though they are addressing crypto, they still had a lot of traditional methods when it came down to funding or withdrawing of the assets. Right? Now that they are part of Ripple's broader team, the use of stablecoins may actually be able to further improve their product offering for those users. Right? For example, let's assume that we are having a margin call, which obviously we never have because we are super conservative. But let's assume that we were, or let's assume that we need to take out some assets, right, to settle outstanding trades on other platforms or whatever. The current model that they had took forever, right? And I say this with the best intentions. We like them, but it took forever. And if we are able to actually utilize the technology around stable coins and they can improve the settlement times, that can become even more appealing. What we had to do in order to utilize Hidden Road as best as humanly possible is we essentially isolated everything Hidden Road universe, right? So the exchanges that we were market making with and the brokers that we were pricing with, they needed to be a client of Hidden Road for us to never take those assets out. But this world could never really integrate or interact with the rest of our strategies because settlement times were horrible, right? So this is definitely a step forward towards a better technology and product and their users to broaden their use case.
There you have it right there. Listen, what is happening? The walled garden that we've heard David Schwartz talk about for so long is coming down. The friction of Hidden Road's traditional friction methods of payment were holding up everything, slowing everything down. Well, that's what this is. This acquisition is the integration of the technology and finance of stablecoins, the ledger, and XRP, right, into the integration of traditional finance, clearing, and settlement. That's what we're seeing take place here. The walled garden is coming down, ladies and gentlemen. And here we see even more lining up in the gates, preparing to take advantage of what is about to come. The dot-com era for crypto has begun. $1.3 trillion asset manager Morgan Stanley to offer crypto trading to e-clients. Loving that for us. $7.13 trillion asset manager Charles Schwab to launch spot crypto trading within 12 months. Loving that for us. The Senate Republicans are moving to fast-track first U.S. stablecoin framework despite opposition from banks and crypto firms. Here's Senate Majority Leader Thune expedites the vote on the Genius Act, a landmark bill establishing first ever regulatory framework for stablecoins. Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. Here it comes. You've got the Genius Act in the Senate, and then you got the Stable Act in the House. They're going to pass these, and they're going to, May 6th, 4 days from now, May 6th, they introduce in the committees the market infrastructure bill. And remember, FIT21's already passed the House, if I remember right. So this is moving pretty quickly and going to be an explosive summer if we get both bills on the president's desk by August, as he has requested. Now, the latest here, Tether plans to launch a U.S. stablecoin product by the end of the year. Is that right? Isn't this interesting? Digital Asset Measure says, because Tether can't pass the auditing necessary to become a U.S. stablecoin? I think this is exactly right. And in fact, I had said, and this speaks directly to the point we have been making for years. If USDT was transparent and highly compliant, properly backed, this wouldn't be worthy of an article. It's that simple. Stablecoins create net new demand for U.S. Treasuries. Exactly. I sat on stage last year with the former CFTC chairman, the head of the Digital Dollar Project, the Honorable Cristian Carlo, and talked exactly about how stablecoins would work as a new use case to act as a bulkhead to soak up treasuries coming home. And then we learned that the CEO of Stripe believes that that use case can serve as a better mechanism to elevate the US dollar as a global reserve currency than the petrodollar agreement we currently have. How about that one? Right? The world is about to find out why crypto was created, and it wasn't some libertarian good guy in his basement who doesn't care about making money off his huge stash of Bitcoin. Satoshi is fantasy land. That's absolutely right. And it brings me right back to this. Now, we know Ripple offered to buy Circle, and they turned it down, but I think it was a horrible idea to turn that down. But nonetheless, it always comes back to, they tell us right to our face, And everybody thinks that they don't, but they do. Listen to what Brad said back at the Collision Conference in Canada.
I'm not sure is the short answer. I think stable coins as a category, I think, have a role to play, particularly in domestic settlement. I haven't yet seen exactly where the U.S. is going to come out here. Other countries around the world clearly are doing more ahead of the U.S. and how they're kind of approaching central bank issued digital assets. What's confusing to me is why do we need 10 different US dollar stable coins or 20?
It's a great point, isn't it? And then it speaks to the reason why they reached out to try to offer to buy Circle, which may not be over. We'll see. Now, big day here. Ripple chairman, co-founder of Ripple, Chris Larson, meets with the SEC, Paul Atkins, today. The outcome could reshape XRP's regulatory future and potentially end the long legal battle. Absolutely. And I'm thinking probably going over that hidden road deal and how it will set the new standard for settlement and clearing. This is just the beginning. That's what I believe is going on here. Meanwhile, Chad Steingreiber says here, XRP just had April 2025 as its second highest monthly close. May, June, July, fire, he says. And I say, you know what? Bring it, because we're all ready for it. Now we're going into the Freedom Zone, not financial advice from me or anyone else. USA's hostile takeover. I'm going to show it to you. It won't take long. A lot of people have trouble with it. But I tell you what, it doesn't change the fact that it's true. Don't believe it. It's still true. Come on in. Welcome.